All right, how's it going, gentlemen? This is your main man, Scott McKay, coming to you from XMI Communications with another episode of the Mountaintop Podcast. Fair warning, we're going to go completely off script today. This is going to be a show that you're not used to seeing from me. You're probably going to wonder why I would approach a topic like this to begin with, and I'm going to go ahead and answer you. Because it's fun, because it could theoretically be helpful to you, and just because I want to interrupt the pattern with a vengeance and do something completely different. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about, we're going to form it as a question. For years, pickup lines have been widely made fun of. You know, obviously, this is for little boys. It doesn't work. Women are wise to them. They roll their eyes. But are there lines you can use with women that really actually work? And we're just dismissing everything and, kind of taking a black and white all or nothing approach, as if nobody ever does that with social media in this era nowadays or anything like that, right? Maybe there's some gray area here, and we shouldn't throw the proverbial baby out with the bathwater. We shouldn't throw the proverbial chick out with the pickup line either. With me today has got to be, this is directly from Central Casting. The guy who's been the king of this and uniquely being able to pull it off for years and years. His name is Race DePriest. Attraction Rockstar has always been his brand. And he is here for, I believe, the first time ever on a podcast. I've had Race on board to do, bonuses for programs like Online Dating Domination and I believe Virtuosity that have become legendary parts of those programs, and we'll discuss that. But coming to us right now from New Mexico, although he's a citizen of the world, world traveler, which is part of my heart too.
Yes.
Race DePriest, man, welcome to the show, my man.
Oh, seriously, thank you for having me. As I recall, when I was first starting this so many moons ago, you were the first person that I actually jumped on a conversation with. So this is coming back full circle many moons later. And
I remember that.
Here. Yeah,
I remember
that was a wild time.
You and your compadre Kelly were taking Facebook and just leveraging the living crap out of it and meeting women and holding house parties where you essentially were auditioning 24 women at the same time for the right to go out with you guys, which was just absolutely unthinkably brilliant. And in those days, nearly 2 decades ago now, worked like a charm, huh?
It was wild. It really was. So what had happened was, to tell the story, as you recall, this was actually a little bit before Facebook, even during MySpace. If we want to date it. I feel like MySpace was made by the guy just as a dating app because it was so perfect. This was just happening at the time. I was flat broke, as we are in our early 20s often. Sleeping on a couch, and my buddy Kelly, who he had been in a horrible motorcycle accident like 2 years before and had a bunch of surgeries on his leg. But during this time, as he was recovering, he's like, "That's it. I'm not gonna live my life like down the normal path. I almost died. I'm gonna do whatever. Like I want to pursue my passions." And so he got really good at guitar and then just started traveling around the country playing music, and that brings us to MySpace. So he was using MySpace in the early days. Everyone was using that to promote their music. So a bunch of artists. So then he would have all these followers. And it turned out that 99% of his followers were girls because he was doing chick rock, playing like Goo Goo Dolls style music. So when I ended up moving in with him, broke as can be, he just got back off of tour. He was nothing huge, but he was just a guy who went around and had to call places. Hey, can I play there tonight? Open mic, whatever. But he was really good at keeping up with all of his fans because you have to bring people in. If you don't bring people in, you don't get any cut of the door. So he got really good at that, promoting. So to make that really fast, I show up, we're in Las Vegas, and he's like, "All right, I'm going to show you, let's start. We don't have any money. We didn't have a car. We're like, how are we going to meet these girls?" He's like, "Well, I've been noticing I can get to all of my girls on MySpace to get them to come to a show. Why don't we use this for personal, to see if we can meet girls this way?" And so we were even sharing a little card for the internet. And he would give me the one computer. We were sharing a laptop, and I would get on there and spend like 20 minutes coming up with a really in-depth opening message, look through her profile, her thing, comment on something, try and be clever. And he's like, dude, can you hurry up? I need to get back to mine. I was like, all right, what do you think about this message? And he's like, dude, come on, give me that. He took the laptop and just was like, brr, quick message, send, next, brr, next, brr, next. Because he had to do this to keep up with all of his fans. And so, I mean, that was mind blowing to me that I didn't have to be so perfect and like so thought out and take forever on everything. Was that he just knew like how to do something fun, how to break through the shield and just get the conversation moving. And then within like a couple of weeks of me watching what he did for promoting himself and then applying it to personal, man, we started getting so many girls replying to want to hang out that we were like, all right, we can't possibly do this. Let's just start throwing a party once a week. And we'll invite all of our girls over because we just moved into this this house in Vegas. And we're like, let's make it a housewarming. And then it just became every Tuesday we did like a hookah taco Tuesday. And it was wild. So I would say that definitely was a crazy time where I got caught up to speed on how to really interact with women, how to like what flirting. I would watch him because he was very charismatic and noticed that it didn't really matter much of what he said. It's just that he kept going, that even if he'd make something stupid, he'd be like, well, that was dumb. And then just move on and nothing fazed him. And I would see girls just gravitate to him because he had that charisma. And then I watched him over a while. I just really started to break it down and figure it out. And that's where we started. But it's been a long journey, but it was a lot of fun those days. But that really taught me how.
This is in your seduction DNA then, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's how I got thrown out of the fire into the flame, man. I was ready.
In the best way possible.
Yeah, seriously. So I messed up a lot, but I had a lot of women at the time coming through so that I could learn and be like, that was dumb. Don't ever do that again. Or, oh, that kind of worked. Or I definitely wasn't touching soon enough. I find out from the girl later, oh, why didn't you kiss me? I'm like, was I supposed to? Yeah, so I got a pretty big crash course those first couple of years in Vegas with Callie Kellum.
Race, you gentlemen, you just refusing to kiss those poor girls because it's just too soon. You want to be, much more of a gentleman about it.
Or I was just a scared guy.
Yeah, well, there's that too. I mean, I think we all go through that. So thank you for being vulnerable and honest. We all go through that. I think it's interesting how you talk about messing up and owning it. Like, okay, that was really stupid. I think what guys fail to understand in any of these situations is it really is all about her feeling safe and comfortable and relaxed. Mm-hmm. And women actually seriously do, even in this age of, fourth wave feminism or whatever you've heard, all the horror stories, women really do follow a man's lead. And when we're all wadded up and we're scared and we're unsure, well, then she follows that lead and she's scared and unsure. And when women are scared and unsure, they're not attracted because it's that masculine energy of safety and security that makes them want you. And so if you're trying to be perfect, you never, ever, ever will even approach that goal. And, back in the day, you saw the same marketing I saw where guys are like, if you mess up even once, she's going to go out with some guy who's going to jet her off to the Maldives, some genetic lottery winner, as I call them. And this is where these guys got all hung up on, I have to look like a Chad, whatever he is, to get some chick, and tens are reserved for rock stars. Remember that video? When reality, women are just a bunch of goofballs who want to have fun and feel relaxed, and they find some guy who makes them feel the way they should. It doesn't matter anymore. She may have said this. I want a 6-foot tall guy with the 6-pack abs and the 6 figures. But when she meets the guy who makes her feel a certain way, all of that is like so out the window, isn't it? Because here's a guy who said when he messed up, oh, that was really stupid. She giggles, he giggles. He isn't like beating himself up over it like a Chris Farley skit, right? And then she feels comfortable. He feels comfortable. She's laughing. He's laughing. Boom. They're basically in bed together already, right?
Yeah. I mean, the the comfort, the safety thing, I mean, you hit it right on the head. Everyone, I mean, now that talking about early, sticking my head back in to see where the state of dating is in our culture right now, man, I didn't realize all that look maxing, all this crazy nonsensical stuff that guys have all these really like unbelievable, like out these things that they think they can never live up to. So they have all these the pressure on themselves. So then how are they ever going to be like a safe, calm space for a woman to explore a relationship with you, or to be vulnerable with who she is, to be able to laugh and show that, like you just said, that goofy, nerdy side that she has, that she's just keeps reserved, that she only does with like her best friends because they accept her, trust her, and they're not going to judge her if she does something stupid or silly or makes a mistake or snorts when she laughs. All of these common things. But if you provide that space, if you can be okay with yourself messing up and like get some of those mindsets going, and to keep it light and playful and be like, oops, like I was saying to Kelly, I would be like, oh man, he must say the most perfect things. I watch him and he'd just say something so dumb and be like, you know what, come back to me in 2 minutes. I'll have something better next time. And what I really began to learn is like, there's little, like, if you're worried, there's little things you can throw out after you screw up that just reset it and take all the pressure off. And, you know, I try and give out a lot of these little like reverse Uno cards. So that's not a big deal. So the guys can let go of some of that pressure on themselves and be okay to mess up.
I think that's a great analogy, the reverse Uno card. Let's just flip the script on this whole thing. You use the word provide in the context of helping a woman feel safe and comfortable and starting a conversation in a fun way. And I think too many guys are hung up on a very narrow definition of the word provide, such that, you know, you're going to want all my money and you're going to be a gold digger. And meanwhile, these guys are into looks maxing and all these things that really just provide fuel for incels. So yes, a lot of guys, it's really a sickness. I see it all the time. There are these guys who've decided women are terrible. They're men going their own way. They bought into the red pilled stuff, and they need to keep reminding themselves that they believe that. They're miserable. They want a woman desperately, but they need to go kind of like get another fix of another negative video that reminds them, oh yeah, I'm actually better off without these crazy bitches who are going to take everything and send me to divorce court. And they just need to keep telling themselves, oh, this is terrible. I don't want a woman. I'm happier this way, being miserable. And then they try to write me and talk me out of it. You know, when I put a positive energy of any kind out there about women, they're the first on YouTube to say, well, you're wrong, you know, and here's why I'm right. And here's what you forgot. And it doesn't even matter if I have a good comeback for it or I just defend my position. They'll just double down. And it's misery. It's not leadership. It's not making women attracted. This is not about being 6 feet tall. It isn't about being Mr. Perfect. Nobody trusts perfect people, right? This is about making women feel safe and comfortable, relaxed, and helping them have fun. And you, as the chief funstigator, have always been that guy. So when you're talking about lines, right, this isn't a Craig Shoemaker skit. This isn't something that's going to draw, at worst, the ire, and at the best, levity from people like, oh, that's funny. That's a real good joke. That's going to make her laugh because it's bad comedy. What you're doing here is you're providing ways to spark conversation that are just a little bit more fun than saying, hi, how you doing? And if they happen to work in a situation, great. And if not, well, whoops, I messed up. And that is the line. You know, you also mentioned that if something doesn't work, there are certain things you can say, not only to recover the situation, but perhaps give you another reverse Uno card. Comedians have been doing this for years.
Exactly.
Right? You know, if you're a stand-up comedian and you bomb, you know, to say, is this thing on, and tap the microphone, or go, well, you know what? That worked when I wrote it down on paper, maybe not so much in real life. And that's guaranteed to laugh because you've already tried that. People forgive you and you move on. You know, if you wilt in shame because you bombed, the audience is going to be like, is that it? There's no recovery. This guy's supposed to be funny. That wasn't very funny. So yeah, I think it's perfectly okay to have a recovery mechanism in place if you say something that doesn't work, other than the aforementioned wilting and shame,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I try and provide that with like kind of all of the advice if I give them something to actually try or do. Because like we've been talking about is I've noticed people are just getting so much more isolated than I ever saw before, because I've been out in the world traveling as you know, we were talking before this. The thing is connecting, meeting people all around. But then when I stick my head back on the internet to see where the state of affairs are, I'm seeing everyone very much isolated, okay with just going home, being on their phone, watching shows, and then not taking any of the steps to try and connect, and then not knowing where to start, say if they haven't done it in a while, coming out of a long relationship, a divorce, or maybe just something going on in their life where they've been isolated. Like some of the guys in my community, like he had the last year where it's like mom died, brother died, lost his wife, like all these things. It's really hard to come back out and go, all right, where do I start again?
Yeah.
So when we're talking about these lines, these aren't lines that I'm creating to be like, hey, here's a sneaky little line that works every time. It's going to unlock some secret door. No, these are things to know where to start, just so you can not overthink it and just get out there, start that, try a conversation with just someone, on the street that are in line, or like I have all of my clients start like at the grocery store, something you always do. Here's a couple of lines you can say to the checkout lady. See how she responds. Get a feel for starting human connections out of thin air again.
Yeah, it's not just being the love meister, baby. It's being human again. And you know what, Race? Something you said is incredibly important. We all know that people are losing connection with the real world. Ever since COVID, people have been tethered to their devices. I mean, you see young people sitting around with each other in real life, and they're still tethered to their devices. That's been going on for 15 years now or more. So you've got everybody under 30 doesn't understand any world but that. And we're expecting them to go out and be social and have this magical ability to connect with other humans when we've been actively training ourselves against it. And you know what? It's not going to come easy to people anymore. So, if you're stoking the fire a little bit with something easy to get you going, it almost is like there's this reinvention going on of lines with women. They're not pickup lines. They're more like social activation mechanisms, if you want to get real PUA
exactly.
tactical
That's
on
a
it.
Great way of putting it.
Yes. I mean, for years, we have had lines that grease the skids socially. Hi, how are you doing? I'm fine. How are you? Everybody says that. Nobody says, oh, you just used a can opener on me. Shame on you. Well, it seems like if we have more of a variety to share with women than just, I'm fine, how are you? Or if you're two psychiatrists, you're fine, how am I? Right. That's Henny Youngman right there. That goes way back.
Oh, that's
but
good.
The little bit of humor, the little bit of levity. So many guys are trying to do hard things and be stoic nowadays when they should practice a little bit more warmth and a whole lot more levity. Because this dead serious thing men are trying to do is the opposite of what's going to make women feel like they're having fun and being safe with you. So you've got a whole program, and these guys have the link to it at the end. And of course, if you go to mountaintoppodcast.com race, which, these guys know I'll race anything with or without wheels. So the fact that /race was still even available is a bit of a miracle. But hey, it's you, man. You are Race. So
yeah.
mountaintoppodcast.com /race. You'll be magically teleported where you can grab a copy of this. But, you call it 99 lines and, 99 lines and a pickup line ain't one, right? So
right. Absolutely.
You've got 7 of them here that you offer as examples. I think they all do a good job of really showing how this is different than the stereotype and how it's a little bit more evolved. So the first one is the hook, line, sinker texting blueprint. You say it's how to move from an opener to connection to a date, which may be a dirty word nowadays, so hanging out with her, spending time with her without it sounding scripted. So you got a script that doesn't sound scripted. So let's have it.
Well, Yes. So the reason why I even put together 99 Lines is because I kept, guys kept asking me, all right, well, they always just want more things that they can say as if it's going to solve everything, which this won't, but it will give you something in your back pocket when you can't think of anything. So you can start throwing those like lines out there, start fishing. Like the more chances you're going to make a connection, you're not going to make any if you're not doing something. And a lot of times, just to even get started, they'll open up and be like, yeah, okay, but I don't know what to say. Now I need to go watch a hour-long YouTube video. And then that gets me on
Right.
something else. And then they're 5 hours later, they're like, oh man, now I don't know where to start. Like, oh, I'm just not good enough. Or maybe I'll just try tomorrow.
No, that
And
never
so,
happens in the year 2026, does it? No,
yeah, right.
nothing
Not
like
at all.
that.
There's
Right, yeah.
no rabbit holes people go down to that keep kicking the can down the road and never actually start. So I put this together as just like it's not going to solve your dating woes. What it is going to do is going to give you a little, go ahead, start reaching out to make these connections, because you never know which one's going to turn into friendship or a date or a business opportunity. I mean, this goes way beyond dating, but dating's a great place to start when you're lonely. A lot of times people think that what they're missing is someone in their life to validate them, usually a woman. And no, this is a reset. This is more just start reaching out. Here's ways to actually dig a little deeper, find out a little bit more of what she values in her life, who she is, but in a really fun, very easy way, so that you're both laughing and going, you know what, this would, you seem fun. Yeah, you seem fun. Maybe we should meet up.
That's all it
right.
takes.
Yeah.
So if you have the lighter to ignite that forest fire, kind of a rough analogy for you Californians.
Yeah, sorry.
Nevertheless, it's a good one. Then go for it. So based on what you just said, I have an inkling of what hook, line, sinker might be, but tell us what it is.
Well, the hook is just, you're just trying to get past those shields. Like almost everyone's, texting. I don't know if you're messaging, you can use it on a dating app. You can use it to a girl is a friend's friend on Facebook. These all work because we're all digital typing stuff. That's how we're communicating most of the time. So these just are ones that, one, are different than the normal. I mean, this is nothing groundbreaking. How many times have you told through your podcast or through your messages that, hey, how's it going? Is not going to work as an opening message. And yet, how many do you see when guys show you their text or show you what they did? It's, hey, how you doing?
Either that or they tried too hard.
Are way too hard, and it's 2 paragraphs about all the ways that they are perfect for each other. It is crazy. It's like one or the other. It's like no effort at all, and they expect that to work, or they go all in and build up this fantasy in their mind. Like, oh, I noticed you're into cats. I love cats. I do this, then this. Oh, I travel. I make good. It's like, let me just prove all the ways.
Yeah, it's a lie.
Yeah, all the ways that I already know we should be together. It's like, wait a minute. That's way oversharing, way jumping in. And
so is there an actual line here, or is this something that just kind of is an overlay to the whole blueprint you're putting out?
Yeah, that's just the blueprint in the front that I just give a bunch of different hooks to throw out there just see it as to start the conversation, interest the fish.
I kind of came up with something similar. I call it the buffet conversation.
Okay.
So guys will make the mistake of either on text or even in person when they're sitting in front of the woman going, so what do you like to do? Mm-hmm. And the woman will go, I don't know. And then all of a sudden you've got that dreaded awkward silence that is always written about. Well, I think you just add a buffet of choices to that. Mm-hmm. So what do you like to do? Do you go bicycling? Do you kick small dogs? Do you like to cook Italian food? What do you do on weekends? Well, I do love to cook Italian food. I love to make breakfast too. Well, then you have a conversation. And if she goes, I don't know, after the first 3, it's like, well, surely you either watch movies or read books or do needlepoint or something. And she'll giggle and go, well, I do read some books. Well, what have you read lately? Next thing you know, you're actually having a conversation that's about her, even if she threw you this massive talk to the hand roadblock up front because you didn't give her any choices. So that was kind of my take on casting a bunch of lines out there to see what you hook. That's my take on that.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to, well, as I'm sure everyone knows on listening to this, you don't want to go into interview questions. We've all done it. We've all been there
No
because we
fun.
can't think of
Doesn't
anything else.
matter. Yeah.
We fall back to like our simplest programming when we're nervous or whatever, and that's going to happen. So having some actual questions that open up the conversation and give you opportunities, touch points to find out things that she values about herself, things that she finds interesting, things that she would want to talk about. Yeah, you have to open that up. You can't just be like, oh, so what do you like to do for fun? Because think about it in reverse. I mean, one of the most helpful things is think about it if it was you in that situation.
You'd be caught flat-footed too.
Yeah. And she just says, what do you like to do? Well, think about it right now.
Is this a trap?
Yeah,
Right?
already you're thinking, what do I like to do right now? If
Well, I like to get women hot like you naked in bed, but is that right now? Yeah,
Yeah, we all like that.
That's something that bears repeating here is that all of those life or death, deal breaker, deal maker, meaning of life interview questions you speak of, they don't matter a whit until you are attracted to each other and like each other and are getting along. None of those matter until you've established we're enjoying each other's company.
Yes, 100%. And that's why I really push on the Funstigation angle of instigating fun wherever you're at.
What a great brand, man. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I remember when I came up with that, I was in Montreal, Canada, having breakfast with my buddy Tim and his dad. And we just had a crazy night. I mean, a night where we went to this is back when there's couch surfing. So there's a couch surfing warm-up party for everyone who's doing it. So just went there with my buddy, met everyone as I do using the treasure hunting where we go and find I try and get my people out of their head of, oh, I have to perform. I have to be perfect. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. I don't want to look dumb, into being able to instigate the fun by just asking certain questions just in a different kind of fun way. And really looking for, I call it treasure hunting. Find 3 different treasures you find interesting about them. That's your only mission. Don't worry about telling everyone all these cool things about you. Just find 3 things that you find interesting or cool about them and then let them know.
Another thing you have here under stop asking interview questions is the let me guess technique.
Yeah. Yes, I love doing that. So if you ever feel stuck, you ask a question, you're like, oh, that was a dumb interview question. You're like, where are you from? Instead, and this works in person, but it also works great on just your opening messages. Let me guess, you see pictures of her, say she's, I don't know, just, girl sees you what do you do? And you're like, oh, that's a dumb question. It's like, no, let me guess. You look like you're, a princess, or you look like, what do you do? What do you do other than scribble about me in your diary all day? Or
yeah, that's a good one.
Just making guesses that are outrageous and silly, like, where are you from? Let me get, you look like you're from North Korea. Am I right? Did you escape out? Even when they're not Asian at all. Just outlandish. So 1, they get a laugh, but 2, they now are just correcting you. They have
and you get all the information anyway.
And you get the information anyway. But now it's done in such a much easier way.
Now, the true golden nugget there is if you're observant, which too many guys aren't because they're all inside their head trying not to mess up. So they forget to open their eyes and look out and see there's a million things to talk about if I just noticed, right? If you're actually observant, there's a better chance you're going to get one of those things right. And when you do, it'll be like you're a mind reader and she's just going to be enthralled with the whole conversation already. How did you know that? Right?
I'm so glad you said that.
There was a woman, her name was for lack of a better example, Christina Rosenberg. Right? And I said to her, so what was it like having one parent being Jewish and the other one being a Christian? She goes, how did you know that? I said, Jewish folks named Rosenberg don't name their kids after Christian anything, and you're Christina. Oh, I guess that's kind of true, isn't it? But that was just being observant. That was keeping my eyes open. And I was right. right?
And,
Like if you ever meet someone named Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John Silverman, that's the situation in their family. I almost guarantee it, because Jewish folks aren't naming their kids after one of the Gospels. It ain't going to happen, Captain. So there's a good chance you're going to be right with that observation. No, that's a fantastic example. I love it. You have another one called pattern interrupt openers. How to stop their thumb mid scroll and why safe openers kill response rates. Now, by safe, I think you mean insulated. You can't get mad at me for saying them kind of openers. Not anything that would make her feel safe. Ironically, usually something different may make her feel safer. So tell us how that pattern interrupt works, Race.
Yeah. When I'm starting a message, I try and think of what's something that they haven't heard. Some of the easiest ones are if you're stuck and you don't know, just go back to grade school. I mean, that's a time when we're all just figuring things out. So like one of my favorite ones that a buddy of mine came up with is like, you look like the kind of girl I would share my cookies with in kindergarten.
Right.
I mean,
you don't even have to be that creative.
It is seriously
anything different.
This sounds like, oh my God, that's so dumb. I can't tell you how many dates I've got from using that. It's just simple. It goes back to a simpler time. It's assuming things like you would have shared. So now she's imagining on this playground sharing cookies with you. Like that's already a much better jumping off point than, hey, what's up? Or noticed your profile and you like bike riding. So do I. Like,
let me guess, you like bike riding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or let me guess, you have some I would do like, let me guess, you have some very strong opinions on bikes or whatever. Or like if she's a coffee fanatic, you have some very strong coffee things, that like opinions on coffee.
Right.
You just make something so it doesn't have to be outrageous. Just allow your brain to just calm down and not try and be perfect, and just think of something. What would you have said fun and playful in, like back when you're starting, back in grade school? Like, what are some things that you can do?
Race, you have a similar problem that I do after 20 years of this, is you've done this for a long time and you're immersed in it. So for a guy like you who spends so much time thinking about this, you're going to come up with these things glibly, easily, and guys are going to go, well, he's a genius. I could never do that. But you don't have to be a genius. It doesn't have to be as perfect an example as the one that you're giving. Like, you're the kind of girl I could have shared my cookies with at grade school. I mean, that's really cute, and it gives her a warm fuzzy, and guys are going to be like, well, I never could have thought about that. I think the irony is, and this is very frustrating to guys who are going through a rough patch or a dry spell, I realize it. But the less you think about it and the less wadded up you get and the less you psychoanalyze and overanalyze in general every little thing you're sending to her, lest it be right or wrong, the more you just let it breathe and not really care about the outcome and release yourself from that, the better it's going to work. And that's so honking frustrating to a lot of guys. But I remember once I had a few women in my life when I started getting good with women, before I met Emily, of course. One time I just texted a woman, what's happening, hot stuff, like Long Duck Dong from 16 Candles. And I mean, it was perfect. She thought that was hilarious. She goes, oh my God, I haven't seen that movie in like 10 years. I'm like, it was the dumbest thing. And it is even particularly creative. I didn't make it up. I said WHASSA, happening, hot stuff, just like the guy in the movie would have. And of course she responded immediately and fervently with laughter. And it's not hard. It's just that guys have to get out of their heads and just let it breathe. That's the best way I know how to put it. Seeding the invite, the subtle way to get a yes to the components. That sounds technical right there. Before you ask for the date. So what's seeding the invite?
All right. So seeding the invite is just, a lot of guys get hung up on, when do I ask for the date? How do I do it? Like you're saying, you let it breathe and grow.
They're wadded up again. Yeah,
exactly. You say you touched on 3 different things. That's kind of because I like to do the map, and you're ready to like, hey, this conversation seems like we do have some things in common. Maybe it's time. Let's set a date. Right. A lot of guys are like, I don't know how to do it. So what I do is, the simplest way I've ever come up with it and it came from back in those days when I had to invite a ton of girls to events constantly. It's just an easy, and I call it seeding the invite. You just say 3 things that are awesome about the thing you want to invite her to. The example I give is Taco Tuesday, because we did those a lot. So it would be something like, do you like tacos, great conversations, and laughing so hard to you pee your pants? And then I put in parentheses, just kidding, that's gross, don't pee your pants. And then, but if it could
and
be
don't
anything.
worry, we have mild sauce for women like you.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Or say you like bowling, like, are you any good with balls, pins, ... and cheap drinks and laughing all night. And then you can drop a little sexual innuendos with that. But I mean, just pick a thing you want. You want to go to a concert? Do you like great music, dancing so like to the night away, and pick something else that's great about the concert? So you just ask those, do you like those 3 things? And it's like insane. Everyone loves those things. Like you put it in a very positive light. Who doesn't like tacos and tasty margaritas and laughing? Or a comedy show, who doesn't like those things? So she'll write back, oh yeah, like, oh my God, that's so much fun. I love those things. Then it's already like a preset for the date's easy. It's like, oh, cool, because I was thinking Tuesday, we're going to Taco Tuesday. You want to go? Like, I would be like, all right, that's perfect, because Tuesday night, we're going to Taco Tuesday. You in? Or, you know what I mean? So she's already saying yes to the types of things that is going to be going. So it'd be weird to be like, nope, never mind. I don't like those things. I'm not going. It just makes the invite seem so natural.
Let me guess. You're the kind of woman who prefers 8-pound balls. That's where you go.
I love it. There you go.
Like, what?
All right.
Bowling. I'm trying to take you bowling. I'm making plans.
Bowling. What are you doing?
What are you
dirty
thinking
thoughts?
of?
Yeah, seriously. I got to watch out for you.
Women and their secret garden of thoughts. My goodness.
See it exactly. And you're just what you're doing right there, as you well know. That's the light, playful, fun banter, that you got to read at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to know what kind of woman you're dealing with. If she's a redhead with a sarcastic attitude and you know that, then the 8-pound ball thing is where you lead. I mean, she'll love you. Yeah. She'll think it's hilarious. Yeah.
Exactly.
My favorite 3 words, it's almost like a euphemism, but every guy I've ever heard say this, and this goes back, good grief, almost 40 years the first time I heard it. So look, this is nothing
I'm
new.
listening.
The coolest guys I've ever seen, the smoothest with women, would just say, let's make plans. 3 words. I want to hang out with you. I want to go out with you. All those awkwardisms, gone. Let's make plans. I like you. Let's make plans. She knows what you mean. You know what she means. She knows it's not platonic. And it just sounds so cool. It's like something James Bond should have said. And it's 3 little words that you can remember. Right? Easy. All right.
I mean, that's brilliant.
Yeah, enough about me. All right. The odd time trick. Now I'm going to seed this conversation by telling you someone with a goofy sense of humor in my gated neighborhood where I live made the speed limit 26 miles per hour in the whole neighborhood. And I think this is the same thing, right? The odd time trick. Go ahead.
Yeah. When setting a time, like when are we going to meet? Just pick an odd time. It's something so simple. You'd think like, well, that won't do anything, but like 99%, if not 100% of the time, girls write back, oh, that's a funny time. Or they'll be like, or they'll say like, well, what about if I say like, we're going to go, let's make it at 6:08 p.m.
Take her to miniature golf and make it at 9:07 tea time.
Brilliant.
Yep, there you go. If any woman ever tells you she likes golf or plays golf, you have to make the date for 8:07. You'd have to.
Is that 8:07? Is that from?
Well, it's a tea time. Tea times come in like 7-minute increments.
Oh, do they? I guess I don't play enough golf.
Yeah, right. So if you play golf, you know that an 8:07 or an 8:13 or something like that. If you have an odd time, it's directly associated with golf. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, well, that's a new thing I could add into my back pocket. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Along those same lines, if you ever do say something that is meant to be funny, or she doesn't get it, or it just goes over her head, rather than giving her the explanation, read the room in the moment and see if it makes sense to explain it, or you could just laugh and look at her, shake your head and move on. The one thing you don't want to do is like get all wadded up over the fact that that joke didn't land or she didn't understand. Just move on. Just go on to the next one. Just keep the vibe. Just keep that going. Not everything you ever say to women will land, and bless their cute little sexy hearts. Sometimes it's just women being women. Not anything against them. It's just sometimes guy jokes don't land with women, and it's weird how they won't really hold it against you. They'll just shake their head and go, well, I guess that was supposed to be funny. I guess, I mean, you don't want to make a habit of it, but if it's like an 85-15 where they get 85% of what you say and it works and it's warm and light, then you just keeping that vibe up for the rest of the time isn't going to hurt you. Yeah.
Yeah. And
perhaps.
If you don't believe this is truth, I dated a girl from Montreal that she spoke very little English and I spoke zero French. And we met up over years. And it was probably the third time she met up with me. She came out to Vegas and she had learned more English by then. And I remember her turning to me in the car and going, wow, you're funny. I didn't realize you were so funny. So she had not been getting most of my jokes anyways, but the way that I was like, oh my God. And you've been dating me, like you would fly out to meet me. So
it's all
yeah,
the vibe, man.
Yeah, the vibe I carried.
You're fun and
safe.
Light. That's all. That's your language. Face.
I made my jokes like were inclusive, even if she wasn't getting them. And so, yeah, it's much more about how you energetically like interact with what you're saying instead of like being that turtle that, oh no, I don't know if that landed. Go back in my shell and then shut off that energy so you can feel it. But when you can just be like, come back to me next time. I got something I'm working on. I'm shopping it. Yeah. Or don't worry if you stumble. If you stumble on your words, just like, don't worry. English is my second language. I'm getting it down though. I should have
better when I said it on the Tonight Show. I don't know what happened.
Yes, exactly. Little things like that.
Yeah, fantastic. And you make a fantastic point relative to attraction with women who have a language barrier with you. It's not always a lost cause. It's all about energy. The next one, handling the two biggest objections. Is this copy paste? And do you say this to all the girls without getting defensive? The first thing I'm going to say to, again, seed the conversation is if you hear, do you say this to all the girls? It's not necessarily a bad thing that she feels you're comfortable with flirting, because most men aren't.
Right.
That's not the end of the world. That's not a bad
No, not at all. When I hear that, I'm like, good, it's landing. Good. She's understanding. We're flirting.
And you know what? Once you cross that Rubicon, you can flirt with every woman and the jig won't necessarily be up that you have chosen them and you're completely committing to a yes or no, acceptance or rejection from that one person. If you're the kind of guy who can interact with all women as if they're women will naturally start second guessing whether you're choosing them to be attracted to, because you are like that with all the women. Now, if you're like that with no women and you stumble through trying to flirt with her, then she might roll her eyes and say, oh, he's hitting on me. Whereas if you have this comfort level with all kinds of women will go, well, I hope he chooses me because he seems popular. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you nailed it on the head there. Yeah. So like flirting, that's why a lot of my advice starts with, let's start talking to everyone, build up that social muscle again, where you're not flirting with the guy on the side of the road. You're starting a conversation and breaking autopilot and getting a laugh and just slowly learning that. Then when you're, say, like when I was living in New York on the subway, you just talk to the person next to you, that cute girl, you talk to her because, hey, you've talked to everyone and you're used to it. You built it up. Those like light little, they seem like fluffy at the beginning, but they are. I mean, that's how conversations start.
Yeah, if you're a guy and you're allergic to small talk and have this disdain for small talk, good luck with that.
Yeah, see you later.
But, I may have stolen your thunder a little bit, for which I apologize. No, you have a way to handle, is this copy paste, or do you say this to all the girls? What are those ways?
Well, I mean, if a girl writes me back and says, do you send this to all the girls? I'll simply say only the ones that I might be interested in.
I'd say if you got this from some other guy, believe me, he stole it from me.
Yeah, there you go. See, just taking it like that.
Don't get defensive. No.
That's the worst thing you can do. That is absolutely the worst. And so for me, that means nothing. Her asking that is great. I mean, she's engaged. She didn't go next. That's a full-on
anytime they respond to you nowadays, they're engaged. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Because they had a lot of choices that they just, swiped off. So yeah, the real thing is just try and get that shield down, that you're not invading, you're not creepy, you're not intense, you're just testing the waters, you're fun, you're keeping it lightful, and you're observant.
But you're a normal dude.
Yeah. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? That's the crazy thing that's to get across.
The last one here is the real reason words matter more than looks. Women respond to emotion triggered by what you say, and most men trigger the wrong emotion. Describe.
Yes. So when you are connecting with women, you want to change up the variations of your words. Like you want to think about your words as think about how you could say something differently. It's the same thing that you would normally say. Just see how could you spin it just slightly different. So that the whole what do you do for a living? Let me guess, you're from the future, or you came back to whatever. Just think of something that is instead of hey, what's up, or how are you doing? Just spin around what's the most fun thing you did this week, or what are you looking forward to doing this week, like this weekend, or just anything that they can go and start looking inward towards things that they value or that they're excited about, because you really want to hit on things that are positive emotions and excitement, and they could start just silly and lighthearted at first, but it's through those that you're going to really dive in and think about anytime you've met someone and you ended up becoming good friends. It usually happens after a night of really connecting on things that you both really like and be like, wow, we have so much in common.
Yes, and
really cool. Yeah.
The first rule of improv. Love it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
You play yes and with women, you're going to make them feel safe. One of the things that you say here is most men trigger the wrong emotion. I think a lot of guys are very analytical. A lot of left brain guys, a lot of guys who study STEM fields suffer from this. They start analyzing everything and looking at things in black and white and right and wrong. Anytime you start correcting women or asking why questions, which sound very accusatory and put them on the spot.
Why do you like that?
You're triggering not safety, something other than safety and security, which is barking up the wrong tree. It's creating non-attraction instead of attraction. Well, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm an accountant. Why would you want to do that? That's so boring.
Yeah.
Click. She's
done.
You're not giving her the right emotions there. Right.
Yeah. Whereas as you well know, you just say, oh, no way. What about accounting got you, what got you interested in accounting? What about it drew you towards it?
That's different than why.
Exactly. Why is accusatory? Why would you do that? Why is that your favorite movie? Really? You like that? Why? You can already hear it and feel like, whoa, defense is going up. Instead of
that's a boring, inconsequential thing to do with your life. Why didn't you do something else?
Guys think that their
that'll get you laid
really
right there.
Yeah, right there. I remember a really good friend of mine, Patrick, in New York City. He's a very handsome guy, chiseled, tall, everything, right? The dream guy. We always call him Superman because we can't keep up with everything he does. But still, we're in a bar and I watch him talking to this girl and he goes to correct her and I kick him under the table and he looks at me and we go and have a little conversation. He's like, yeah, but she was wrong. But I was like, well, okay, did you want to be right or did you want to connect with her? And he's like, oh,
I don't want to connect with her if she's wrong.
I can't connect with anyone who's wrong all the time.
Oh my God, these guys who won the genetic lottery who are dateless, it's because they don't know how to make women feel a certain way. These are the guys who can get women to go out on a first date and then they come to me wondering why they don't get any second dates. It's almost always that problem with making them feel safe and secure.
Absolutely.
They look like a Ken doll and then she's disappointed or angry.
Or yeah, they have their opinions and they feel like they need to get them across instead of trying to figure out who this person is and see how they can work together, how they mesh together to see what they have to offer each other.
Yeah.
And so it's wild. Or what I've also found about with a lot of guys that get the first date but don't seem to be getting a lot of seconds is that they will find something that is probably just nothing almost always, but they'll say, oh, well, she was a little bit like this, so not my type.
That's a
so I don't want to
mechanism.
pursue it. It's 100% what it is. That's why I wanted to bring it up, is they try and figure out ways to disqualify so that they don't feel rejected, like I wasn't good enough or I couldn't have made the second date happen. So,
man, we're our own worst enemy, aren't we?
Aren't we, though?
Aren't we, though? The name of the program is 99 Lines. And you can grab your copy when you go to mountaintoppodcast.com/race. It's good stuff, guys. It's not what you're used to seeing from me when I send you a link, but that's why Race is who he is and I'm who I am. It's a total pattern interrupt and includes pattern interrupt openers. And let's see, we've covered 7, and one of them was the framework. So you got at least 92 or 93 more coming at you that you haven't even heard about yet. And Race, man, first of all, it's good to see you again, man. It's been a while. I'm glad we caught up. We did that quite a bit before we hit record. Man, more power to you. You're doing good work out there. These guys need more guys like you who can take something very practical and put it to good use even in the year 2026, because we do. We need to start connecting with women.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that makes it easier on these guys, I'm all for. So thank you for coming on the show, man. It's great to see you again.
Dude, I've really enjoyed this conversation quite a bit. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it was fun. How can it not be fun with the Chief Funstigator on board, man? Great stuff. Great stuff. And guys, once again, you can grab that copy of 99 Lines by going to mountaintoppodcast.com/race, RACE. And gentlemen, if you haven't been to mountaintoppodcast.com lately, first of all, visit Jocko Willink's company Origin in Maine, the guys at Hero Soap, and the guys at the Keyport. Use the coupon code MOUNTAIN10 with whatever you get from our 3 longtime sponsors. All good stuff, all manly stuff. You're missing out if you've never even checked out what they've got going on. And once you see it, you know you're going to want some. So good stuff there. Gentlemen, I am talking to more and more men who don't just need a date, they need their life back. You know, you had your career lined up, and at age 45, the layoff happens, and you realize all of these applicant tracking systems on LinkedIn and on Indeed are filtering out everybody under 40. And you have so much to give. You have so much wisdom. You have so much you've done. You're hitting your stride. And meanwhile, you may have gone through a rough divorce. You may have had lots of friends back when you were in college. Maybe the fraternity guy is who you were. And now you're 45 and you don't have any close friends. Guys, I know it isn't that you need a date. It's that you need your life back. I can relate. I see you. I hear you. I get it. You want to talk about that or anything else, get on my calendar at mountaintoppodcast.com. First half an hour won't cost you a dime. Sometimes it's just good to be able to talk to someone who you know isn't going to spread it around everybody else you know. And it's good to be heard. I'm there for you on that. Make that happen, Captain. Get on mountaintoppodcast.com. Get your 30 minutes in with me. If it makes sense to put a program together to help you get everything back on track like you know you deserve it to be, let's do that. Otherwise, it's always good to connect with you guys. All of that and more is there for you at mountaintoppodcast.com. And until I talk to you again real soon, this is Scott McKay from X&Y Communications in San Antonio, Texas. Be good out there.